I'll just go ahead and I'll say welcome to the Dark Fables of Aesop before we even boot up the disc because I'm going to put myself on mute for the most part through the introduction. I'll play the help and then I'll play the stories. So um, I'll up the game volume and mute myself. The back of the box says that there are 12 wonderful tales in this particular collection. It's the first of two Dark Fables titles on the CDI. I don't know how many are in the other one, the more Dark Fables. So we have 12 tales narrated by Danny Glover, original score by jazz great Ron Carter. And then the game component of this disc are mazes. The back says that there are 60 mazes with 3 levels of difficulty. I'll do at least one on the hardest difficulty. And if it's not too bad, then I might as well just go through all 60 on the hardest. Um, so yeah, going through 60 mazes may take some time, plus watching 12 stories. Uh, so we'll try to get as much done today as we possibly can. We'll go through all the morals and everything first, and then we'll do the maze stuff. And I'll put myself off of mute at that time. Otherwise, I'll be here in chat, and we'll hope that stream doesn't disconnect. So, with that, we play the CD. I'll boost up the volume. And I'll see you on the other side.
Welcome to the Temple of Scrolls, where documents dating back to the beginning of time are recorded and kept. These scrolls contain the sum of our wisdom from the past. Come, I will show you one. Herein are tales to advise both powerful kings and their lowly subjects. They are fables of an animal nature, strangely similar to its human counterpart. These tales of human greed and inhuman punishment are told as lessons for you to learn. Choose one now and listen.
The dual nature of this disc allows you to either watch Compact Disc Interactive or listen to Compact Disc Audio. To listen to CD audio, simply place this disc in a CD audio player and you'll hear the fables accompanied by music. Or to watch this program in CD Interactive, here's how you do it. Move your marker with your remote control to select the features of this program that you want. I'll move the marker now to show you how you can use it. To take control of the marker during these instructions, simply press an action button. If you need help at any time during this program, move your marker to the question mark and press an action button. If you want to exit the program at any time, move your marker to the temple and press an action button there. You can watch all of Aesop's fables one after the other, or you can play them one at a time. To play all the fables, move your marker to the picture of the storyteller and press an action button. The fables will play in sequence and you can watch them all. But if you want to select an individual fable, the mystery of Aesop's fables, the animal characters, or the game of mazes, move your marker to the appropriate picture on the scroll and press an action button. You'll hear the title of that feature and you can press an action button again to select it. If you can't find what you want, use your remote control to move the scroll in the direction you wish to go, either right or left. When you find what you want to play, use your remote control again to move your marker to the picture of it and press an action button. Once you've selected what you want, you can use any of the following features. If you move your marker to the triangle and press an action button, you can play the fable you've selected. If you want to pause in the middle of a fable, move your marker to the square and press an action button. To resume, choose the triangle and press an action button to play. To stop the fable at any time before it is finished and return to the selection screen, move your marker to the curved arrow and press an action button. When you want to learn the meaning of a fable, move your marker to the moral symbol and press an action button. You can interrupt the meaning at any time by choosing the curved arrow to return to the selection screen. To view the pictures at your own pace, move your marker to the rectangle and press an action button. Then use the arrows down on the control bar to page through the pictures that illustrate the selection, one button press at a time. You can move forward or back again as you choose. When you're finished viewing the pictures, just move your marker to the curved arrow and you'll return to the selection screen. To leave this section and return to the scroll, press the return arrow again. To learn more about the type of human character which each animal in Aesop's fables represents, just select the Animal Characters feature. You'll view a screen full of the animals that populate these fables. If you can't find the animal you want to learn about, move your remote control right or left to find additional animals in their natural setting. When you find the animal you want, just move your marker to it and press an action button to see a brief segment about that animal. You can stop the segment at any time by choosing to pause it or by returning to the animal selection screen. To leave the animal selection screen and return to the scroll, press the return arrow again. Also, there is a game available on this program. If you want to play, move your marker to the game picture on the scroll and press an action button. You'll go directly to the game selection screen. Select the level of difficulty you want, 3 for hard, 2 for medium, or 1 for easy, by moving your marker to the appropriate number and pressing an action button. If you want to return to the game selection screen and select another difficulty level, move your marker to the curved arrow at any time and press an action button. If you want to go back to the scroll, simply press return again. Now it's your turn to explore the dark fables of Aesop. Play all the fables. The birds, the beasts, and the bat.
There was a time when the birds and the beasts went to war against one another. In the middle of the war, the birds passed by a solitary bat seated on his perch. "Come join us in our fight," the birds asked the bat. But the bat merely replied, "I am a beast." And so the birds went on without him. Later, as the beasts passed by the bat, they said, "Come join us in our fight." But this time the bat replied, "I am a bird." And so the beast went on too. The bat was quite pleased with himself for staying out of the war. But then something unexpected happened. The birds and the beasts made peace. The war was over. When he learned of the agreement, the bat flew to the bird celebration and asked if he could join in. But the birds wanted nothing to do with him. You did not join us in battle. You may not join us in victory. The bat felt outcast, but he had an idea. He flew to the beast celebration and asked if he could join them. But the king of the beasts replied, "You did not join us in battle. You may not join us in victory." And with that, the beasts chased the bat away. Ever since that day, the bat lives in caves and hollow trees by day, not daring to show his face until night. Because he realized too late that he who is neither one thing nor the other has no friends.
The Dog and His Shadow.
A dog stole a juicy cut of meat from a butcher's shop and was very pleased with himself. On his way home to dine on the meat, he crossed over a river and caught a glimpse of his own shadow reflected in the water. The dog thought, "Another dog with another piece of meat. I can grab that meat and have enough for 2 days." But when the dog snapped at the meat in the reflection, he dropped the meat he had in his mouth. It sank to the bottom of the river. The dog jumped in after it. Before long, he was fighting for his life and barely managed to make it to shore. He would return home very wet and very hungry. If only he had remembered that he who desires to have another man's good often loses his own.
The Fox and the Crow.
A crow with a piece of cheese in her beak flew through the air while below, a crafty fox licked his chops and thought, "That's a tasty morsel for me, and I know how to get it." The fox went to the foot of the tree and spoke to the crow in a sweet voice. "Good morning, Lady Crow. My, you're looking well today. Feathers shiny, eyes bright. If only the beauty of your voice matched the beauty of your appearance." Upon hearing this request, the crow fluffed her feathers and held her head higher, so the fox continued, "If I could hear you sing, I have no doubt that your voice is the fairest sound of all birds." The crow could not resist such praise. She began to caw. But the moment she opened her beak, the cheese dropped out and the fox quickly gobbled it up. Unaware that she had lost her food, the crow continued singing. The fox, having gotten what he wanted, could stand no more of the noise. "Enough of that wretched racket," he cried. "You're hurting my ears." With that, the surprised crow went silent, and the sly fox scampered away. If he had really cared for the crow, he would have given her this advice: never trust flatterers, for flattery is the food of fools.
The Frogs Desiring a King.
The marsh was a very happy place for the frogs who lived there. They bothered no one, and no one bothered them. But some of the frogs thought they needed a king and a constitution. saying, "It's only right." So that night they gathered together and called on their god, Zeus. "Send us a king, almighty Zeus. We frogs deserve our own ruler." "A king, you say? King of the frogs? Well, foolish frogs, if that's what you want, here's your king." And with that, a log dropped down into the swamp. It made quite an impression as the frogs jumped in all directions. They hid on the bank and watched. They watched for hours, and when they observed that the log did not move, the boldest of the frogs went to investigate. And when they saw that it still did not move, the brave hero of the frogs became even bolder. Soon, the frogs were so used to the log, they didn't even notice it was there. But some of the frogs still wanted a king, so they sent another message to Zeus. This time the message said, "Almighty Zeus, we frogs want a real king who will rule over us. We want one now." Zeus did not like being told what to do, and he said, "Foolish frogs, if you demand a king, I'll give you a king." So Zeus sent a stork down to the swamp, which quickly began gobbling up all the frogs there. The frogs soon wished they had never demanded a king, but it was too late. An angry Zeus gave them one last word of advice. "Foolish frogs, don't you know? For leadership, look to yourself, not others."
The Grasshopper and the Ant.
It was a glorious summer day, and the grasshopper was singing and chirping and singing. What a grand day! What a splendid day! Suddenly, the grasshopper saw an ant passing by, struggling to carry a kernel of corn. The grasshopper spoke to the ant. "Greetings, friend ant. Why not stop and chat a while? It's too beautiful a day to waste working so hard." But the ant shook his head and said, "I cannot stop and chat. I must store up food for the winter ahead. I suggest you do the same." The grasshopper laughed at the ant's words. "Winter? Oh, that's months away. And I have plenty of food for now." But the ant did not stop his work. He toiled and struggled all that day. And the next. And the next. While the grasshopper sang and hopped to his heart's content, the days moved swiftly toward winter. One cold and frosty morning, the grasshopper saw the ant again and he spoke. "Friend ant, could you spare some food for a hungry grasshopper?" The ant scowled at the grasshopper. "Sir, you sang all summer and now you can dance all winter. I will not give up my hard-earned food." And so the grasshopper sadly turned away, realizing for the first time that in good times it is best to set something aside for bad times.
The Hare and the Tortoise.
The hare was a boasting sort of fella. He loved to brag that he was faster than any other animal. One day, he told a group of them, "It's true, you know. I haven't been beaten once, and I challenge anyone to try." When the slowest animal of all, the tortoise, stepped forward, the hare was amazed. The tortoise declared, "I accept your challenge. I will race you, hare." The hare's amazement turned to laughter. "You must be joking. I could beat you running backwards." "You can do your bragging after the race," said the tortoise. And so the next day, the other animals lined up to set a race course. The owl said, "Hoo, hoo, get ready, get set, go! And they were off. The hare ran so fast that he disappeared from view while the tortoise moved forward at a crawl. It didn't seem like much of a contest to the other animals. It didn't seem like much of a contest to the hare either. He was so far ahead of the tortoise that he sat in the shade and took a nap. After all, the tortoise wouldn't catch up to him for hours. Meanwhile, the tortoise continued along the course, barely moving, but never stopping. He just went on, and on, and on, and on. Eventually, the hare woke up refreshed from his nap. Whew. Time to finish this so-called race, said the hare, yawning. But his yawn became a gasp when he looked up and saw the tortoise fast approaching the finish line. The hare ran as fast as he could, but he couldn't catch up to the tortoise. The tortoise won. The crowd of animals cheered him. The hare exclaimed, "I just can't believe it. How could this happen?" The tortoise turned toward the hare and explained, "There's no animal faster than you, hare, but slow and steady wins the race."
The Horse, the Hunter, and the Stag.
A horse and a stag got into an argument over which of them ruled the plain. The horse insisted, "I was here first," and the stag replied, "What of it? I am stronger and faster than you are." Frustrated, the horse went to the hunter to ask for help. The hunter said yes. "But if you want to defeat the stag, I'll have to place a piece of iron between your jaws so I can guide you." The horse was so angry with the stag that he was willing to do anything. "And I must put a saddle on your back so I can keep steady as I ride you." The horse agreed to this too. Soon he was saddled and bridled, the saddle on his back and the bit in his mouth. Together the horse and the hunter removed the stag from the plain forever. Finished with their work, the horse said to the hunter, "Thank you for your help. Now please remove these painful objects from my mouth and back." But the hunter refused. "Sorry, my friend. Now that I've bridled and saddled you, I intend to keep you that way. You can be of great use to me." And from that day on, the horse was controlled by the hunter. Because if you allow others to use you for your own purposes, they will use you for theirs.
The Lion, the Fox, and the Beasts.
For many years, the old lion was respected and feared for his strength, speed, and cunning mind. He was king of the jungle. So it was a surprise when the lion sent word by his messenger to all the other creatures. "He's sick and near death," said the messenger. The lion would no longer be able to leave his cave, so the other animals should no longer fear him, but rather should visit him to hear his last will and testament. "Bah, our king dying?" wondered the goat, who decided he must go and hear the lion's last wishes. And so the goat entered the lion's cave and was inside for a very long time. The sheep, too, worried that the old lion was not well, went into the cave. While the sheep were still inside, the calf entered the cave, too. And so it continued that the deer followed the calf and the ducks followed as well. After a long period of time, the lion, looking perfectly healthy, emerged from his cave. He seemed very surprised to see the fox lingering outside. The lion asked, "Fox, why haven't you come inside to pay your respects yet?" The fox replied, "With all due respect, Your Majesty, I could not help noticing all the tracks leading inside, but there are no tracks coming back out again. I will not go in until all the animals that entered your cave come out." The fox then trotted a safe distance from the lion because he was clever enough to know that it is easier to get into the hands of the enemy than to get out again.
The Mice in Council.
One day, the mice called a meeting. Everyone there was in an uproar. "We must do something about that cat," said one of the mice. "We can never really enjoy our lives until he stops stalking us. Let's set a trap for him. We should tie his tail to a tree, throw him to the dogs." In spite of their anger, the mice could not think of a solution to their problem until one young mouse arose and made a bold proposal. "We should tie a bell around the cat's neck. Then we'll always know when he's coming." "Hurrah! Hurrah! Great! Fantastic!" shouted the other mice. They cheered and called the young mouse brilliant, a genius, a hero. And in short order, a bell was sent for. When it arrived, the council of mice met again and gave it their heartiest welcome. The bell would be the end of all their troubles. But when the hubbub died down, the oldest mouse held up his paw for silence. "Having heard our young friend's ingenious suggestion, I must say I can see how perfect it would be. Bell the cat and our futures will be secure. But I have one small question for our hero. Which one of us will volunteer to put the bell around the cat's neck?" The other mice groaned when they realized the truth, which is that it is one thing to suggest an action, but quite another thing to carry it out.
The Swallow and the Other Birds.
A group of birds watched as a farmer planted seeds in a field. One of the birds, a swallow, became very nervous and said, "Beware of that man. He is dangerous." But the other birds laughed and called the swallow an alarmist. "But he is dangerous," insisted the swallow. "We must pick up every seed he sows, or we will all be destroyed. Come, help me." And so the swallow went to pick up the seeds. But no matter how hard she tried, no one bird could get them all. The other birds laughed even harder. "Why is she getting in such a bother over a few seeds?" one of them wondered. The swallow returned and insisted that she was not exaggerating the danger. "Those are hemp seeds, which will turn into plants. The plants will be harvested and turned into cord, which will be woven into nets, and the nets will be used to capture birds like us." Sometime later, the very bird who had laughed the most was caught in a net made from the plants that had grown from the hemp seed. "I am so sorry I didn't listen," he told the swallow. And the swallow replied, "I tried to warn you. You must destroy the seed of evil, or it will grow up to destroy you."
The Wolf and the Lamb.
A wolf was drinking from a stream on a hillside when he looked up and saw a lamb also drinking downstream. The little lamb looked quite delicious, so the wolf thought of an excuse to grab him. "Hey, what do you think you're doing, young lamb, muddying my drinking water that way?" The lamb, though timid and afraid, replied, "Sir, the water may be muddy, but not because of me. You see, it runs down from you to me, not the other way around. This reply, though reasonable, did not deter the wolf, who moved closer and spoke again. Young lambs, tell me, why did you call me a bad name last year? Sir, I could not have called you a bad name then, as I am only now 6 months old. I was not alive last year. Again, the wolf did not want to hear what the lamb was saying. He moved closer still, bared his teeth and said, Young lamb, if it was not you who called me the name, it was your father, and that is close enough for me. With that, the wolf leapt upon the poor lamb and gobbled him up, as it was his plan all along, because a tyrant will always find an excuse for his tyranny.
The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing.
There was a hungry wolf who wanted to prey on a nearby flock of sheep. But a shepherd and his dogs watched over the flock, and the wolf had no opportunity to strike. Until one day, the wolf found the skin of a sheep that had been left out to dry by the shepherd. By putting the sheepskin over its own fur, the wolf was able to join the sheep in the pasture undetected. The shepherd and his dogs did not notice anything odd about the flock, and the wolf delighted in how clever he was. That night, when the flock was penned in, the wolf roamed among the sheep, deciding which one he would pick for his dinner. But at the same time, the shepherd entered the pen to find himself some dinner too. Which cut of mutton will I eat tonight? Wondered the shepherd, as he grabbed the wolf thinking he was a sheep and slit his throat with a knife, proving that he who tries to fool others may end up being fooled himself.
Okay. Back off of mute. Gonna reduce the game volume just in case. Well, that was fun. That was educational. That was less than 30 minutes of video, which is much shorter than I expected it to be. All right. Contradictory. Some of those kind of fly in the face of each other. But anyway, something I want to do really quickly is because they said in the help section, why is that going there? About if you click on this.
And the Crow.
Let's do this. Like, is this going to show the last line?
Never trust flatterers, for flattery is the food of fools.
Okay, so that's all.
To flatter is to praise someone too much without really meaning it. Sometimes people say nice things just to get on your good side. If you believe that someone is flattering you, think about what that person may want in return, and if you want to give it to him.
Okay, so that like expands on the moral lesson a bit more. I see. Well, let's quickly go through that too, just to sort of have that documented. And then I also want to quickly see what difference this
The
is.
animal characters.
Oh.
A fable is a brief tale in which animals speak and act like humans, usually to teach a lesson about human behavior. In Aesop's fables, each animal is used to represent a particular characteristic or set of characteristics of human nature. To learn more about the human character of each animal as Aesop portrayed it, move your marker to the picture of that animal and press an action button.
All right. Let's see if this is anything worth putting on there too.
Dog. Dogs are greedy for food, even to the point of being willing to be enslaved to get it. Lamb. The poor lamb is an innocent victim who never understands why others might want to take advantage of him. Frogs. Frogs are depicted as foolish and vain. They think they're more than they are and also less than they could be. Stork. The stork appears as a very clever bird who can be an instrument of the gods against others. Grasshopper. The grasshopper is a carefree creature content to fritter away his days in fun, heedless of what the future may bring. Hare. The boastful hare, or rabbit, may be quick off the mark, but he is also apt to make big miscalculations. Crow. The crow is always involved in getting his food and water. He can be very clever about it, except when his vanity is appealed to by flattery and he loses what he has. Wolf. The wolf is most often a predator, preying upon the weak for his own advantage. Although he uses cunning and cleverness, he is capable of being outwitted by anyone wise enough to know his bad motives. Horse. The horse is fast and competitive, but easily tricked and enslaved by man. Tortoise. Though slow and plodding, the tortoise is a steady worker who never gives up. Lion. The lion is the majestic king of beasts, representing both the nobility and awesome power of rulers. He evokes fear and obedience in others, sometimes using his power ruthlessly to achieve his ends. Fox. The fox is always clever, especially in his pursuit of food. Ant. An ant is an industrious hard worker who plans for the future. Mouse. Mice represent ordinary people. Although small and threatened by the size and power of larger animals, mice can, when called upon, be thoughtful, dependable, and even heroic. Swallow and the Other Birds. The swallow is more intelligent and exhibits greater foresight than the other birds. He knows well that what happens today can affect what happens tomorrow. Bat. A bat represents a shadowy, two-faced person who cannot be depended upon as a friend. The Mystery of Aesop's Fables. The origin of humankind's ancient fables remains shrouded in mystery. Fables from olden times have been found to exist in cultures around the world, from ancient Egypt to India, from historic Persia to Greece. In India, the Hindus were among the earliest and greatest of fablers. Their fables were used for centuries as a means of educating young people. The Hindu fables are attributed to a man known as Bidpai, sometimes known as Pilpay, which means the favorite. According to legend, Bidpai became court philosopher to the Hindu king, advising him on how to handle the many problems confronting his rule. When the king requested that Bidpai write down his ideas on government, the result was 12 books of fables, of which 5 survive and are known as the Book of Five Headings. Originally designed as political lessons for a king, the fables survive today as moral lessons for children. Meanwhile, in the world of Western culture, whose beginning was in Greece, one man has been most associated with the telling of fables, and that is the man they call Aesop. It is unlikely that Aesop read Bidpai's Book of Five Headings, since at that time books were handwritten and not many copies existed. But it is probable that Aesop heard Bidpai's tales told by travelers coming from India, because there are many similarities between Bidpai's and Aesop's fables. As for Aesop, not much is known about him. Most scholars believe that he was an African born in Greece around the year 620 BC. Many accounts picture him as a hunchback, while others claim that he had a speech impediment. Early in his life, Aesop was a slave, living in the household of a family called Jadman. But his master was so impressed with Aesop's wit and wisdom that Aesop was given his freedom. He became famous for his fables, and King Croesus chose the former slave to travel throughout his kingdom to solve the political problems that arose in the many Greek republics. The story is told that Aesop was sent to Delphi to distribute gold among the citizens. When he arrived, he was disgusted by the greediness of the Delphians and refused to release the money with which he was entrusted. When the people learned that Aesop had sent the money back, they threw him over a cliff, killing him. Sometimes the accuracy of what we know about Aesop is disputed, and the mystery of Aesop and how he created his fables may never be solved. But one thing is certain: in the Western world, his name has been associated with the wisdom of the dark fables for over 2,600 years. The Swallow and the Other Birds.
You must destroy the seed of evil, or it will grow up to destroy you. Do not ignore small problems. Small problems become big ones. Solve them before they grow too large to ever solve.
The Hare and the Tortoise.
Slow and steady wins the race. The hare had speed and ability to burn, but to be a winner, you must keep at it. Always be persistent to achieve your goal, and don't get caught napping.
The Wolf and the Lamb.
A tyrant will always find an excuse for his tyranny. A tyrant is a bad person who uses his power over others in an unfair way. And while he always finds excuses to make his unfairness appear right, it is never right to mistreat others. Be sure not to mistreat others unless you want to be called a tyrant too.
The Grasshopper and the Ant.
In good times, it is best to set something aside for the bad times. If you do not plan ahead, do not expect others to plan for you. What you do today affects what happens to you tomorrow.
The Lion, the Fox, and the Beasts.
It is easier to get into the hands of an enemy than to get out again. If you are a clever person, you will learn carefully from the bad things that happen to others and make sure the same thing doesn't happen to you. Always look before you leap.
The Fox and the Crow.
Never trust flatterers, for flattery is the food of fools. To flatter is to praise someone too much without really meaning it. Sometimes people say nice things just to get on your good side. If you believe that someone is flattering you, think about what that person may want in return and if you want to give it to him.
The Dog and his Shadow.
He who desires to have another man's good often loses his own. So be very careful not to lose what you have in trying to get what someone else has. By wanting too much, you may end up with nothing.
The Horse, the Hunter, and the Stag.
If you allow others to use you for your own purposes, they will use you for theirs. People are often caught in traps which they set for others. Scheme with someone to hurt someone else, and there may be a second victim to your scheme. You.
The Birds, the Beasts, and the Bat.
He who is neither one thing nor the other has no friends. If you are not a friend in bad times, you will have no friends in good times. Remember, real friends stay together at all times.
The Mice in Council.
It is one thing to suggest an action, but quite another thing to carry it out. Some ideas are easier said than done because an idea is a solution only if you can do something with it. So beware of easy answers to difficult problems.
The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing.
He who tries to fool others may end up being fooled himself. A wolf in sheep's clothing is a person who pretends to be nice, but, like the hungry wolf, isn't. Beware of a wolf in sheep's clothing and never be one yourself.
The Frogs Desiring a King.
For leadership, look to yourself, not others. It is sometimes easier to allow others to make your decisions for you. But if you give up your freedom of choice, you may not get it back again.
Heck. Okay, there we go. That should be the end of that now. All we have left is the mazes. Finally. I wonder if I have the Pecos Bill disc. Let me check. I'm trying to remember some of the other celebrities, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. We had Mia Farrow did the Pegasus one that we did last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was. But I think that was on CBS or PBS as well. It actually aired on TV. Yeah, I do have Pecos Bill. I don't have how the camel got its hump or how the rhinoceros got his skin. Those are the ones I'm thinking. I don't. Okay. So we got mazes. The back of the box says there's 60 mazes. Let's get at that.
The Mazes.
The mazes. We'll try one on hard and see how hard it actually is. If it's just like too long and obnoxious, since there's so many of them, we can just do medium for most of it. Unless this is fine. Who am I guiding? Hold on. Let me get the help for the maze part.
The Maze game presents 60 different mazes at 3 levels of difficulty. Select Easy, and you can play one of 20 frog mazes. Help the frog hop along a maze path from lily pad to lily pad until it reaches the log. To begin, move your marker up to the frog and press an action button. Then direct the frog's movement up or down, left or right by moving your remote control in the appropriate direction. Remember to stay clear of the water, and when you reach the log, you've won the game. If you want to stop the game at any time, just click on an action button. To play the same maze, press on the frog again. But if you want to select a new frog maze, press on one of the straight arrows on the control bar. You can move to the next frog maze or the last frog maze until you find the one you want. If you want to return to the game selection screen and choose another difficulty level,
Okay, so it's going to be
press on the curved arrow at any
20
time.
of each difficulty.
Selecting medium will give you the tortoise and the hare maze. Help the tortoise outrace the hare to the finish line. Remember to stay on the desert road. Before long, the hare will give chase. If the hare catches the tortoise, you've lost the game. But if you help the tortoise reach the finish line ahead of the hare, you've won. Selecting hard will give you the wolf and the lamb maze. Help the lamb escape a whole pack of wolves by following a country path until the path takes the lamb to the safety of a corral. Remember to stay on the country path. Before long, one wolf and then another will give chase. If any of the wolves catches the lamb, you've lost the game. But if you help the lamb reach the corral ahead of the wolves, you've won. Now it's your turn to try the maze game.
Okay. That's different than I expected, so I am definitely doing all 60. So it's not 60 with 3 difficulties, it's 20 of each difficulty. Alright, away we go. Does this stay out of the water? Am I able to actually go in the water? That's the question. No. I'm not really looking ahead yet. Alright, here comes the fun, boring part. The fun, boring part, I just said. I went the wrong way on the first one. Where's that jazz? They should have like a loop of the jazz music. I wish this was a little bit more grid-like because some of the corners are awkward with the D-pad. It's ominous. That's probably not. I mean, the good news is if I'm having a lot of trouble with these, I could just trace it out before I even start on those ones where they have things chasing me. Well, hopefully everyone can get a nice nap out of this. Speed run. Left. Are these intersections not intersecting properly? Well, welcome back to the stream. I hope everyone had a good holiday, had a good new year. It's nice to be back. We'll plan to do a batch of about 5 CDI games, somewhere around there, I think. And then we'll hop right back into Game Boy with game 201. Get some Monopoly going. So feel free to vote in the poll that you see in the chat. We'll have we'll probably run that poll after I'm done with the CDI block, so you have some time. Alright, let's sort of like trace this out. Boy, these are long. Okay, got it. I wonder if the medium mazes are going to be a little bit tougher to figure out by reverse engineering, but I would not assume so. Very compact intestines. Turn my TV down. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of an echo. I don't know how loud it is. Okay, let's see. Here we get. Uh, these are surprisingly long for easy level mazes. Oh, I could have gone left after all? Oh, no, I couldn't have. It doesn't connect. Don't worry about me. Being dumb. Uh, straightforward. I think it's these awkward turns that are kind of screwing me up. Like this right here, like I'm trying to go up, but it's diagonal and just the wrong way. So when I'm being chased. Oh, did I really go the wrong way? Did I miss? Oh, I'm supposed to go up. I'm even supposed to do that diagonal anyway. Where's better than Pac-Man? No, I didn't. There we go. The lily pads are close enough that it's a frog. It should be able to hop across that little patch of water. Just that tiny little patch of water. "60 mazes." Yeah. Okay. "60 hours on the challenge." Not bad. Got through 13 plus games. Almost 14 games in 60 hours. That's pretty good average. No real branching paths at all on that one. Okay, cool. Really stuck? Okay. The next CDI game that we have on deck is going to be my first bonus game. It's going to be quite a few bonus games overall in the challenge. Stuff that's like homebrew or European releases that I happen to have that I still want to play. We're not going to do a lot of bonus stuff until we get about halfway through the challenge, or halfway through the Game Boy challenge, I'll say. But I want to sprinkle in like one or two over the next couple CDI blocks that we end up doing. So Felix the Cat is one of those, which was a finished but unreleased game that got an official licensed aftermarket release a year or two ago. We'll be looking at that, and I think it'll be pretty short overall. It's another activity pack type of a deal. But yeah, we're gonna keep them short. We're gonna do at least one other kids game. We're gonna do like Little Monster at School. In this block, we're gonna do backgammon. We're gonna do a horse racing game, which has no actual ending. So I'm making up my own goal for that. This is a super easy. I think horse racing. Great Day at the Races. I think it has Mickey Rooney in it for some reason. That'll be interesting. Let's see, that goes there. Oh my god, okay. They just like misnumber these? All the way around, which involves if I can go straight down. All slipping. Yeah. So maybe we can finish this today. I really don't know. These are going pretty quick. It's like a minute or two per. I don't think we're gonna have enough time to. Well, I'd like to just get Felix the cat all done in one big video, so I don't think we're gonna do that today if we do finish this one early. No, I didn't mean to hit last. Don't fully know if this is the most efficient route. Alright, if I go this way, though, I think I actually can do it a little bit easier. The history of Aesop video or portion was sort of interesting. I don't think I ever heard any of that stuff before. It's like, hey kids, just so you know, the guy who said all this stuff, he was murdered. People in the town did not heed his tales or warnings. He was killed. So, moral of the story, doesn't matter what the hell you say. People are shitty. Watch your fucking back. Also, sorry for swearing, kids. I'm not bleeping this one out. You're a little kid actually watching me go through all these 20 levels. Thank you, I guess. But also, don't repeat that word to adults. Let's see here. This way. One's a obnoxious one. Make it look like it intersects in multiple ways, but it does not. Pretty sure I can get through this way. Void. Ah. Oh. I think it's this. No. Not this. It's up this way. That's true. People know what Aesop Rock is. Which is also kind of weird to me because he was like an underground rapper when I was in college that, you know, not a lot of people knew of. I guess just his longevity has increased his reach. All right. I did have one swear in my Sesame Street playthrough, which is not yet posted on YouTube, but should be there soon. And I bleeped it out. And by bleep, I removed the audio from that little bit, just to keep the Sesame Street pod completely clean. Was this the right way? Yeah, it is. Should have done an Aesop reference in my stream title. I only know his like first two things. Did not keep up with his career. Go down middle, middle. Why can't I not turn right here? There we go. The wolves are gonna catch me if that kind of thing happens in the difficult setting. Almost done with the first third. At the top. Ooh, does this go to 21 or does it go back to 1? It goes back to 1. Okay. Alright, done with the easy mazes. On to the medium mazes. Alright, so we just look at this. Wow, that's a long path. Okay. Damn, that's a fast turtle. I think it's faster than the frog. Is he going the right way and I'm going the wrong way? Did I fuck up? Oh, he's on the wrong fucking path. Oh, there's the second swear, kids. This bunny's stupid. Take that, Bugs. Okay, where are we? Down here? Trace it. Whoop. Where am I? Okay, okay, so I'm here. I just need to go. Okay, got it. Blend in with the cacti. So far, the hair will only catch me if I happen to go the wrong way. Not actually a threat. Uh, and oh, it's going the right way. Oh, never mind. Here. Oh, that's so long. Oh, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Okay, go that way, up and around, zigzag, zigzag. So if I go up and then down here, it should basically lead me right to it. Is that the best path? Not 100% sure if there isn't a better one. It's the only. I don't think they needed 20 for each difficulty. And I probably don't need to actually do all 20, but I'm gonna. Oh, that one. Not either or. Okay. Looks like the left. Looks like that's blocked off, so I gotta go down. And this hair has no chance of catching me. I could take a nap near the finish line and wait for it. Need some tape or something on this controller. One of the rubber pads came off the back. The jagged plastic that remains is kind of digging into me, but wait, sorry. Distracted myself too much. Okay, so if I go dun, dun, dun. Left. Yeah, swine shit, doesn't it? I can kind of do this, and it might be a bit shorter. Shit, it's really going the right way. Oh. I don't get caught on too many corners. Still? Oh, no, right. That's the closest one yet. Okay. That way. Here. Okay, so just nope. And there we are. Almost halfway done with all the mazes. I was definitely expecting more than 30 minutes of Fables to get through. So I'm happy that this seems like it'll be a one night game. Uh, this looks almost identical. So just almost lost my place. $30 more to go. It's going quick. It's still like 1 or 2 minutes at the most for each one of these. So, minute and a half ish. So just get down to here. I say it kind of feels weird to be back to streaming after a couple weeks off. The holiday and the weekend and everything. This is gonna be the first night of the year where I don't watch a movie. Breaking. We had a nice run, January 1st through the 4th, watching a movie each night. It's just a bunch of pinwheels. Okay, so then here's like the deciding part. Alright, let's see if this is the right way. It's totally screwed. Nowhere near me, pal. Think I go up here? Yeah, that looks right. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna look like you're gonna be close to me. There are rocks there. You can't actually get through. You don't know what rocks look like. Where am I? Okay, so just hang a left. Bum, bum. Where's the turtle? Oh, I'm here. Okay. A lot of falsities in this one. All right, so I make a left here and then did he just go down the same bad path twice? I know what it looked like too. I wonder if he uses like normal maze logic of like always hug the right wall or something like that. Dun, dun. Almost made it before the bunny even showed up. Does the arrow go all the time? Be curious to see if the wolves on the next batch of levels are actually opponents. Because there has never been a risk of being caught in any of these medium difficulty ones. Doesn't pose a challenge to this 40-something-year-old man. Try harder, Aesop. Okay, what we got? Dun, 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 dun. Oh wait, I go up, up left. Hmm. Okay, final medium maze. Sounds here. It is nice that you can plan out ahead of time. I think if it just sort of like sent the rabbit out no matter what after X amount of seconds, uh, then it'd be a different story. Then I might have failed a couple times. Right. Up, up, up. Okay. 20 to go. Get to the shepherd. These are easier to see. Oh, this is a pack of wolves. Okay, so they just both go the wrong way. All right, so yeah, if you just pick the wrong direction, like you're screwed because you're gonna get cornered. Oops. Speaking of. Now you just have three dumb AIs instead of one. Weird. Which way? Okay, I think it's just from down. I don't think from the right can do it. So, oh, I need to be in not to the guy. Oh, okay. Well, thankfully I can still recover from that. All right, so I don't reach the guy, I reach the gate. Makes sense. So I need to get top left, not underneath the shepherd. Okay. So that means this probably, it looks like there's multiple paths on this one. Maybe I'm wrong. I won't be surprised if I fail. I'm like, even if I get through all 20 without failing, I will purposely fail the last one just to see what it looks like. Okay, no, the top way is not a way at all. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. We need to. Don't like this one actually. All right, so I need to go all the way down, and then stay straight, and then take the left before the middle thing. I think I got it. I might be wrong. This might be a failure, but I think we'll be good. I think this is right. They're coming. Many branching paths. Yeah, the swirls kind of trip me up. Hold on. Go over here, up that end, so I gotta come back through here. Oh, oh no. Yeah. Wolves. So far, very linear. So that should do it. This singular maze, not all of them. Getting caught on corners, though. That might cause me problems in the later stage. Straightforward one. Almost literally barely had to twist and turn at all. Mostly just going to the left. Dun, dun. Hi, Wolfie. Don't walk on the grass. He... A lot of corners. Go up at the first chance I get. Correct circle up there. Come on, there we go. Moral of the story, always be the sheep. All right. I'm assuming I have to loop around like this, and then yeah, just straight up, just hug the outer wall. Riveting stuff. This is like game of the year. Who needs to play current games? Donkey Kong Bonanza, what's that? Let me tell you about this other game featuring animals. We got the Switch too, but I have not played it personally yet. Yeah, shocked the CDI did not dethrone Nintendo and Sega. I mean, wait, am I starting at the freaking opening? Oh no, no, that's finished. I forgot it doesn't automatically go to the next thing. I mean, Nintendo wanted it to dethrone. That's why they partnered with Philips at the beginning. Right, just go straight. Controller's hurting my hand. It's the dog bone one, the Philips CDI dog bone controller that has like the four buttons. But it's missing the stick in the middle. I'm not sure if I have one or not. It isn't in there right now. And if I do have it. So my finger is like, or my thumb is rubbing up against the on the D-pad. There's like a screw part in the middle that's supposed to have like a joystick attachment, and it's not in there. So I'm just like sort of rubbing my thumb up against the plastic and the top of the screw part as I roll my thumb around the D-pad to navigate these turns, and it's getting painful. At some point, I will probably need to get like a Sega Genesis to CDI controller adapter thing, just to be safe. Because my other, like my Genesis looking controller for the CDI, the buttons stick. And to buy another one is like $80 for some stupid reason. So I might try to look for the stick for this thing, see if I have the screw in function, because that'll make it a little bit more comfortable to play on D-pad heavy experiences. There you go. If I could play one game for the rest of my life, would it be the Dark Fables of Aesop? I mean, either that or the more Dark Fables of Aesop. Actually, I don't think more Dark Fables has mazes. I think it has other activities in there. So clearly this one's the winner. I mean, you have 60 mazes. Nobody can go through that many mazes. I certainly haven't in the past like hour and a half. Let me see here. And then this is the crossroads where I need to here. Avoid winding road. Avoid the center of that D-pad as I circle around. I really thought this game would be 2 full nights. I thought that the moral stuff, like the actual video stories portion, would be an hour plus or closer to an hour. And I guess it kind of was when I went through all the other sections and added the the animal character parts and did the expanded moral bit. Did I fuck up? No, I didn't. That's the closest one. Exactly. Speaking of that, there is a CDI game called Mega Maze, which just has a bunch of like marble mazes. So I think Bangera played some of that, and it looked awful. Not one I'm looking forward to. So just go writing down. Be funny if they did hide like a Shining reference on one of these 60 mazes. A snowy field. Hotel in the background. Dude in the middle. This is super easy. Get out of here with this easy. I thought these are supposed to be the hard difficulties. Final five. Oh, it's in the center this time. Okay, this time I am going to the guy. So we go. Still pretty linear. Back to outskirts. Again, this is like basically just move left until you hit the goal. Some of the paths in the easy batch were a lot more complex than this. Okay, another center. Long, winding. This is a long, winding road. Can't tell if he's gaining on me or not. I think he is slightly. No, don't go down yet. Now go down. He might be gaining on me. I don't want him to gain on me. A wolf. Wolves are tyrants. There. Staying up top. Yep. I was fully expecting there to be like multiple paths, and if you don't pick the shortest one, then you're more in danger of being caught. But that is not how this game has worked. All right, final one, and then we'll do a maze where I get caught. See what that looks like. So this, I'm assuming. No, I don't go that way. Okay, so I go down here. And. Wolf is going the right way? Nope, not anymore. Safe. It is. Did it. Okay, so I can just straight up. I'll just wait for them. Let's see if they show up over time, or if it's, or is it a distance thing? It must be a distance thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you get caught. Still yellow, but different sound effects. And there we go. That is the Dark Fables of Aesop. We have seen everything that this disc has to offer, as far as I'm aware, aside from the credits. So we'll stop the timers. I have to stop them both manually. And we'll roll the credits. And we'll call it a night. We'll come back tomorrow and do Felix the Cat. Thank you so much for the GGs, everyone. Konami code. I don't know how to do that on a Philips CDI.
The meanings of the stories are clear. Take heed of the wisdom in these fables, or suffer the consequences. And remember, this Temple of Scrolls is always open. I'll be waiting for you here.
Here we go. Gary Drucker. Got it done. Storyteller Danny Glover. Yeah, Judy Ann Elder is the narrator. Ron Carter did the music. Big production. It just seems so strange that they would put all this effort into this and leave it on the CDI and not try to make like a videotape version of it for the common folk. Phillips Sidewalk Studio.